Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. This is Kevin with the LSN. I'd like to welcome all of you to our webinar series. Today's webinar is titled The New Mobile Rules for Search and Social, Data-Driven Strategies for More Calls and Sales, and will be brought to you by our guest presenter, Blair, from DialogTech. With that, let's get started. Over to you, Blair.
Thanks, Kevin, and thanks, everybody, for joining me today for the webinar. Let's go ahead and get started. So we've got a pretty full agenda today. Basically, we're going to go and I'm going to present some of the latest research on mobile marketing as well as click-to-call. And then I'm going to present some of the ways that marketers that DialogTech works with are using paid search and social ads to drive calls. And then I'm going to present some of the new technologies that people are using around call attribution to help optimize paid search and social ROI, and then ways that marketers are using technologies to control and personalize the in-call experience. So when someone taps on click-to-call either on your website or through one of your ads, there are ways that marketers can control what happens to that caller in order to help the chances of it becoming a sale. I'm going to end with a quick customer case study from DialogTech. I picked one with some local search implications, which I thought was best for this audience, and then hopefully I can answer any of the questions you guys have with the time we have at the end. So let's go ahead and get started. If you're not familiar with DialogTech, we're the combination of two companies, If by Phone and Mongoose Metrics, and we're the leader in call analytics and automation software for marketers, either for people doing marketing themselves or for agencies who do marketing for clients. We have a platform called Voice 360 that works before, during, and after the call with technology like call tracking and call routing and call analytics and monitoring that helps you prove and improve your marketing. We've got over 5,000 customers, and we're in a wide variety of industries. So let's go ahead and get started. So why is mobile so important to marketers? Let's look at some of the statistics. So the first thing, of course, is that smartphone adoption has exploded. Over 64% of Americans today own smartphones, and there's supposed to be around 276 million smartphones in the U.S. alone in 2 years. It's an amazing number. Everyone that I know has a smartphone, and people it's not just the number of smartphones, but how they're using smartphones that makes it so attractive to marketers. People today really do live their lives on their smartphones. Mobile usage today actually beats television. So that's an amazing statistic. People are spending more time on average on their smartphones and mobile devices than they are watching TV. And how is this impacting digital marketing? So think of the different digital marketing channels that you use or are thinking of using. All of them have now gone from the desktop to the mobile device, to the smartphone. You can see some of the stats here in front of me. Google has stated that over half of searches are now on mobile devices. Platforms like Facebook, 71% are accessing social media on mobile, and it's over 80% on Facebook. And a lot of these people are mobile only. That means that they're only accessing Facebook via smartphones and mobile devices. So if you're running desktop ads, they're not going to see them. Display advertising, for example, 60% of digital media time today is now on mobile devices. So if you're running display ads, you should consider running them on mobile as well as desktop, because most of the time they're going to be seen on mobile. And you can see the rest of the stats there, Twitter and YouTube. Everything has gone from the desktop to the smartphone and the mobile device. So it's no surprise then that marketers are shifting their ad spend to mobile. Here's some stats recently from eMarketer that shows that in the U.S., mobile ad spending has increased 50% this year to $29 billion. That's almost half of all digital ad spending has shifted from desktop to mobile, and they predict that in the next 3 to 4 years, 72% of all digital ad spending will be mobile, a huge amount, $66 billion. So marketers are taking note of the fact that people are living their lives on smartphones and making the shift from ad spending from desktop to mobile. So what are the implications of your ads running on mobile devices? It's not the same as on desktop. For mobile devices, what's really interesting is that mobile ads, because most of them are seen on smartphones, they drive calls. here's some new statistics by BIA Kelsey, an analyst firm, that showed last year there were 76 billion calls to U.S. businesses, specifically from mobile search, mobile social, and mobile display advertising. 76 billion, that's a pretty heavy amount. But in the next 4 years, that number is supposed to more than double to $162 billion as more and more people get on smartphones and as more and more marketers shift their ad budgets to mobile. That's a staggering amount of phone calls. And why are people calling? You know, they're calling, usually the higher the cost of your product, the more likely they are to call. You can see some industries here. This is a survey, some data from Google that shows that the higher the purchase price, the more likely someone is to give you a call. They want to talk to a human being before they make a purchase over a certain amount. And that's one of the reasons why phone calls are starting to increase to businesses. And this is great news for marketers. There's some stats that show that 66% of sales managers rate phone leads as either good or excellent, better than any other lead type. And calls, research shows calls convert to revenue 10 to 15 times more than web leads, than web clicks. And that makes sense. Someone who calls you is just more engaged and ready to speak to a salesperson. They're usually further along in their research cycle and are ready to make a purchase. So these are the type of leads marketers most want to generate and send to their sales teams. And mobile, smartphone advertising is a great way to do that. So let's talk about some of the new mobile rules for driving calls from search ads to begin. So this is a really basic rule, but obviously to target mobile, to target your paid search ads on mobile, you want to run mobile preferred search ads. Here's an example of how you do that on Google for AdWords. It's really easy. You simply just check the box. But when you run ads on for smartphone users and mobile users, you want to take a step back and consider what your ads say and where they go. So these are ads that are going to be viewed on mobile devices for people on their smartphones. So speak that language. Talk about, use a call to action of call now or visit our mobile site, for example. Make sure that when you link somebody to your site, that you send it to a mobile optimized landing page. That's very important for people because the entire experience is going to be on a mobile device. And what's great is also make sure that you analyze these the calls and conversions from these ads separately from your desktop ads. And we'll talk about how you can do that in a moment. So take advantage, of course, of call extensions. If you're not familiar with paid search call extensions, you can see them highlighted here for Google and for Bing. They're either the call button or the click-to-call phone number that appears in your paid search ad text. Google did some amazing data on this that showed that 70% of searchers use call extensions to call businesses. It's generating from millions to billions of phone calls every single month, call extensions are. And also, ads that show call extensions, even if someone doesn't click on the call extension, they instead click on the link to visit your website, that person's 8% more likely to do that. So someone who sees an ad with a call extension is 8% more likely to click through to your ad. So even if you're not generating the call at the SERP level, you still will be getting a higher level of click-through rates and engagement on your phone calls, on your ads if you use call extensions. So call extensions are really important in many verticals. So obviously for local, there's the local services like locksmiths, if you're plumbers, anything that does home services, or where people want to call you and talk to you, those are huge for call extensions. Automotive marketing, tech marketing, and travel. Finance like banking or financial services or mortgages, those are big with click-to-call, and restaurants and retail as well. So it's not just one particular industry. It's a wide variety of industries that are where people want to be able to call directly from the paid search result. So here's a different format. You might want to test call-only AdWords ads. If you're not familiar with call-only ads, you can see an example. It's the first example there on the left, the top example. And it's an ad where the header, the call to action, is to call. It's a phone number. It includes a call extension, and then it has your usual URL and text. So if you're going to go ahead and try a call-only ad, if someone clicks on this ad, it generates a call. There's no option to go to your website. So if you're going to try a call-only ad, you should bid based on the value of a call to your business. So find out what a call is worth to your company, and then you can do some analytics and do some bidding based on that, since the call is the only thing, the only option here conversion-wise from a call-only ad. You should only bid on keywords that are likely to generate calls. So you don't want to bid on keywords that you think where people are just running research or are going to want to visit your website for more information. You want to bid on keywords where they are engaged and ready to give you a call. Use ad language to incentivize a call. So whether, talk in the language of, call now to speak to an agent. Agents are standing by to take your call. You want to be able to speak in the language of the person who's looking at this ad on a smartphone. And, keep in mind that not all clicks are call conversions. So AdWords might charge you for the click, and you might show up as a conversion in your AdWords analytics data, but you can see on the right, the person has not necessarily accepted that call. They might cancel it. So you want to use a trackable phone number instead to get a true measure of calls that come through from your call-only ads. And I'll talk a bit more about call attribution and call tracking numbers later on in the presentation. So this is local search. So of course, let's talk about optimizing search campaigns for local. Local search is huge, especially in mobile. There's data that shows that almost half of all mobile searches now have local intent. These are people on half of all mobile searches have local intent, meaning that people who are running searches on mobile, a lot of them are looking for goods, services, businesses in their immediate area. So what can you do to capitalize on that? Well, use a call to action of call now, of course, and include a local phone number, as you can see there in that call-only ad. People are 3 times more likely to call a local phone number if they're looking for a local service than they are a toll-free number. So if you're running local search campaigns, for example, make sure you use a local phone number to incentivize a call. Include local intent search terms like near me or in Chicago or wherever the person's located to make sure that your ad gets shown for those searches. And use call extensions, of course, or call-only formats as well, since people who are running local searches are often more likely to call. You can see some of the statistics here on local searches. 65% want to complete a purchase within a day. So these are great people to advertise to. There's a high purchasing intent for these people. They're looking to make a purchase, to take an action that day. So you want to make sure your ads are in front of them. Now, 64% of these purchases take place offline. A lot of those, of course, are people visiting local stores or local offices to make a purchase, but many of them are also phone calls. You can see that on the bottom, 53% of mobile shoppers call a business. And of course, local phone numbers are preferred 3-to-1, as I covered, over toll-free numbers. So when you're optimizing for local, these are some things to keep in mind. Nearby business ads. I'm not sure if you guys have started testing nearby business ads. It's a relatively recent AdWords format that Google rolled out to take advantage of the statistics on the right, which is that 100%, there's been a 100% increase in near me searches using the term near me or nearby in the past year. 100% increase, and 80% of those searches are occurring on mobile devices. So in order to help advertisers take advantage of this traffic, Google has created a new nearby business mobile ad format, as you can see examples here. So all it does is it lists, if someone uses those terms near me or nearby in their search, Google AdWords will show these paid search ads for your business. All it is the name of your business plus direction extensions as well as a call extension to trigger an immediate call. So it's something definitely to test if you're looking to drive visits or calls to your local business. Now here's a bit of a variation on that, and these are location extensions for local stores. So the difference here is it still shows the direction extension and the call extensions in your AdWords ad, but this is just for one particular advertiser. So here's an example from Yamaha Motorcycles. I ran a search for them. I'm in Chicago, so here are the results that I got from their search ad. So these are the two ones that showed up closest to where I ran my search in downtown Chicago. But this is a great way if you have a local presence, local businesses with multiple locations in a certain market. When someone runs a branded search for you, they're obviously looking for you. You want to give them the option, make it easy for them to find your local store or call the local business. They're obviously interested in you specifically. So for branded search terms, for businesses with lots of locations in an area, local extensions is a great way to capitalize on this market. So those are some of the things for paid search. Let's look at optimizing mobile web pages to drive calls. So, people obviously are calling you as we've shown directly from the SERP results, but a lot of people are still clicking through to landing pages. So here are some of the ways to help drive phone calls from people who visit your mobile landing pages from paid search. On the left, you can see an example from Salesforce. This is an example of for lead gen forms. So make sure, even if you're running a paid search campaign that's asking people to start a free trial or test drive your product or download a piece of content or register now to watch a video, give them a phone number prominently on that form so that, don't force them to go ahead and register for something if they're ready to call you and talk to you. Give them that option of calling. People who call are a better lead. They convert to revenue more often. So give them that option to call you and talk to you. The middle example is for Progressive. So their ad was asking somebody to come and get a quote for car insurance, or this is car insurance specifically, but obviously Progressive has a wide range of insurance options. But they have a prominent Call Us link at the top for people who have specific questions where they don't want to wait, or they don't want to wait and run through get a quote online or fill out a request a quote form. They want to go ahead and talk to somebody right away. Make it easy for them and capture that call conversion for your business. The last example is for a local automotive dealer. So Joe Johnson Chevrolet. You can see that they've got different links actually for sales as well as service calls, which I think is really cool. So, as marketers, you want to be able, when you're paying AdWords, paying budget towards AdWords, you want to drive sales calls as marketers. We're not as interested in driving service calls. So this is one way of segregating that, segregating those calls immediately into two different buckets where you can trigger a call directly to sales or trigger a call directly to the service. Now, service calls are great too in automotive, of course, because they can generate revenue from maintenance and things like that. But give them the option to do both. I think is a great thing to do for your mobile pages. Other examples here. So for businesses with multiple locations, most people have a located dealer or store locator mobile options on their website. So you can see examples here for hotels and resorts, for automotive, as well as for banking and financial. But list a prominent click-to-call number for every single location you have, so that when someone wants to contact you, it's not just directions, it's also an easy way for them to trigger a call to your business. Lastly, for e-commerce, if you're running, if you allow people to make purchases directly on your mobile site or through your mobile app, when you generate traffic, you drive traffic from paid search to your app or to your site, make sure during the checkout process that you include a phone number for people who need help. So, the mobile checkout process is still somewhat complex for some people. Try to make it as easy as possible. You don't want to force people to spend time flipping through multiple screens and filling out all these fields and forms with their thumbs on a small smartphone screen. So you want to give them the option, make it easy as possible for them to make a purchase. And for people who have questions, instead, make it easy for them to call you immediately to get help. If you don't give them that option, they might just abandon your checkout cart. So make sure you give them the option to call you with prominent click-to-call links and phone numbers on your mobile checkouts. So let's talk now about driving calls from social advertising. Facebook dominates social advertising. 75% of social media ad spend last year was on Facebook, and the next best was Twitter, and that was just 8%. So Facebook really is the dominant player in social media advertising. So I'm going to focus on Facebook in today's presentation. But a lot of the things, the general strategies I'm going to present here are applicable to other platforms like LinkedIn or Twitter or Pinterest or Instagram. So keep that in mind, but we're going to focus mostly on Facebook. So when we're trying to drive calls from Facebook, call conversions, Facebook has made it easy. They've got a new Call Now button that they've included for local ads. So you can see an example here of one that was served up to me recently from Mattress Firm. So they give you the option of clicking on the call button and triggering an immediate ad inside the Facebook app or Facebook mobile site. So if you're going to test this option, make sure that you include an incentive for someone to call you. So for example, call now to save X%, or call now to take advantage of a special offer. Because again, the difference between social media ads like Facebook and paid search ads is with paid search, someone's actually is proactively searching for a particular service or business or topic. On Facebook, these ads are just showing up natively in their news feeds, and people aren't necessarily interested in converting on those ads at that moment. So what you want to do is incentivize them to convert. And one way to do it with Call Now ads is to use an incentive, some kind of offer. You can also insert phone numbers directly inside the text of your ads. It's not just for Call Now buttons. So here's an example from a Super 8 that I received that shows, call us directly for a special 99% rate that's only available when you call that specific hotel chain directly. 10 minutes from Coachella, which if you're familiar with Coachella, it's a big music festival. But it includes phone numbers of the rooms themselves. So the cool room that I'd be staying in, they added photographs like that to incentivize. But for ads like this, make it a local phone number. So for example, they have a local phone number here, since this is a local ad targeting a specific branch that's 2 minutes from Coachella. They use a local phone number, and use a trackable phone number here as well, so you can actually measure conversions. You won't be able to tell if someone manually punches that number in that they're calling from your ad, so you can't measure its effectiveness if you don't use a trackable phone number. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. So driving traffic to mobile sites, of course, is a great way from Facebook ads to drive calls. So all the techniques I talked about a second ago for landing pages for paid search are equally applicable here for Facebook ads. Facebook ads have a wide variety of different calls to action buttons you can test and use in order to incentivize somebody and drive traffic to your website. When you do, again, make sure that you have the prominent click-to-call phone number and call option available on all of your landing pages and web pages in order to capture that call conversion from Facebook advertising. I don't know if you're familiar with the new carousel ad. I'm seeing these a lot more in my Facebook news feed. The carousel ad is an example. It gives you a bunch of different images and calls to action you can use to help to help promote your products or services. Here's an example from Mini, but I've been getting examples from all kinds of things, from Salesforce to ads for watches, to ads from Citibank, with different kinds of images and different kinds of calls to action. So Facebook has put out some stats that they claim that these carousel ad formats, reduces your cost per conversion by 30 to 50%. So it's certainly worth testing. You want to show some appealing images, appealing multimedia images or videos, and test different calls to action. If you're a content marketer, Salesforce did this for me, where they showed different links to different pieces of content on different subjects to see which one I'd be most interested in order to incentivize a click from me. So test these things. Test different offers if you're selling goods or services in these ads, and see what works, see what resonates with your audience. Now, this is a bit of an eye chart, but that's really kind of what's interesting about Facebook, is that the targeting options they give you are extremely vast and in-depth. There's a ton of ways that Facebook can target a person, target a group of people, which is very unique to Facebook, which other social platforms have targeting options as well, of course, but Facebook has such a wealth of options for you. So you can do the basic stuff like target with demographic information, but you can also drill down into things like what people are interested in. So Facebook ads, they have consumer data, third-party data that shows where they know where people shop, they know how they shop, they know what products and brands these people purchase, they know the publications people read, and all this vast demographic and psychographic attributes that Facebook captures. And you should really explore, dive in and explore creating your own custom audiences on Facebook using varieties of these, and pairing your message, pairing your Facebook advertising message specifically to these audiences, and testing different options to see what works. And I'm going to show you a couple examples in a minute. So using, here are some examples. I already showed you this one for hotels, but using industry data and Facebook to test ads using different messages and targeting. So Facebook recently came out with a study for hotels. Priceline has a study recently for hotels that showed that 50% of same-day hotel bookings, so people that make a last-minute same-day reservation for a hotel room, 50% of those people who do that on mobile devices do it after 6 p.m. and for rooms within a 30-mile radius of where they're located, which of course makes a lot of sense. So you should run ads, you can run ads targeting these people. So run specific geographic targeted locations, run ads for a specific location near where somebody is, and then give them an incentive to call you or to click through and make a reservation or to visit your business. Here's another example for automotive. So this is the Facebook study that I was talking about before, and that's that Facebook has a new advertising study for automotive that shows that 60% of car shoppers actually start researching cars 6 months prior to their purchase. And within a month prior to the purchase, almost 60% of them again have narrowed their choice down to 1 or 2 vehicles. This is so important to automotive marketers, because most marketers are running ads to car shoppers about a month out. But if you do that, you're almost wasting your money, because chances are they've already narrowed down their selection to 1 or 2 different vehicles, probably not your vehicle. So you want to get in front of these car shoppers early on in the process, up to 6 months out. And you can actually do that with Facebook. It has targeting options specifically for auto shoppers that shows that it can target people who are likely to be in the market for a new or for a used car 6 months out, or for a motorcycle, or for an SUV, any type of vehicle. It's really in-depth targeting that Facebook offers for automotive. So, run ads to make sure you're getting in front of these people 6 months out. Maybe that carousel ad for Mini is a great way to promote your product early, promote some of the cool features, and then, as we get closer to the shopping day, so 2 months out, maybe then you start showing ads with possibly promotional offers or special incentives for people to come to your dealership or to come to a test drive for your vehicle. Again, this is using real data, using analytics that you can find from third parties about your industry in order to leverage that data and create a campaign on Facebook using targeting and messaging that's compelling. So here's one for senior living facilities, senior care facilities. Some stats show that 96% of seniors who are researching a senior living facility pick one in their own state. So that's something that if you're a senior living facility, you want to run ads, geographic ads for your, targeting people specifically, in the state where your facility is located and driving them to contact that facility to book a tour or to speak to a sales representative to get answers to their questions. Again, it's using research data to create targeted campaigns through Facebook. Facebook also has something called lookalikes, where once you have a custom audience and a campaign that you think is working for you, you can go to use lookalikes to create lookalike audiences where Facebook will help expand the reach of that campaign to get similar results. So it's a way, once you have a successful campaign, to hopefully broaden that campaign. And if you've got a great cost per conversion lead from one campaign, why not expand it to a wider audience? And Facebook has lookalike audience capabilities that you should test to help do that. So your mobile advertising is driving phone calls. Now what? What do you do? So the first, the most important thing you need to do is you need to track calls as conversions in order to measure the true ROI of your paid search and social campaign. So you're all familiar with how to track clicks, I assume, from these campaigns. But you need to also add call conversions into that ROI measurement matrix in order to get a true understanding of what's working and what's not. So that you need that data in order to optimize your campaigns to really drive more of what's working and eliminate the spend on what's not. And for people, I know as a marketer, I'm responsible for each week and also each month to show metrics to my boss and my CEO about how well our campaigns are doing. If I didn't have call conversion data in that, I'd be significantly underselling my value to them. If you're working for an agency, I'm sure you feel the same way when you're talking to your clients, proving the value of your work to them. So, being able to include call data, phone leads in that conversion ROI data you present is really important. So here's an example from DialogTech, my company's own paid search. We run paid search campaigns. Here's an example. If you look at, I've broken out some of the data based on the type of lead we generated, whether it was a web form completion or an inbound phone call. So you can see if all I did was present the top level data, I'd be significantly underselling the value of my paid search. 60% of my ROI is from phone calls, and that would not be captured if all I did was show the first line of data. And also I might end up optimizing on the wrong things, bidding more on keywords that are driving web conversions, but no call conversions, and missing out on ones that are driving those high-value call conversions. So it's really important to capture that call conversion data. Well, how do you do it? So you need to use trackable phone numbers in your ads and on your web pages. I talked about this throughout the presentation, but you can use a call tracking provider, like DialogTech, to get these trackable phone numbers. And you can either place these into your call extensions or your call now buttons or in your social media ad text in order to capture if someone calls directly from the ad itself, or you can set up through DNI, dynamic number insertion, with a little JavaScript tag to automatically have these numbers appear on your mobile pages based on the source, the exact marketing source of the person who came to your site. So for paid search, for example, if someone visits your site or calls directly from the Google call extensions, you'll know the keywords that exact caller used. You'll know the ad that they clicked on. If they visit your site, you'll know the web pages that they visited, and you'll know, of course, the search engine. For social media ads, if someone calls from your from your Facebook ad, rather, directly from the Call Now button, or visits your website before calling, you'll know that. You'll know the platform, the social media platform, whether it's Twitter or Facebook. You'll know the ad, the web page, etc. But it's not just marketing source. You can also see a whole wide range of data that marketers can leverage in order to improve not just the conversions they get, but also having those conversions move on to become sales. So website activity, you can tell exactly which web pages a lead visited from each campaign, each channel. So from paid search, you can see this person visited this landing page, then went on to visit 3 or 4 other pages before calling. You can see the entire journey of this person through your website and where the phone call falls in on that journey, which is great data in order for you to optimize the conversions, do some conversion optimization on your website. You can also see which operating system and browser a lead was using when they visited your site before calling. When the caller calls, you can see where in the country, the exact geographic location of every single phone call. You'll capture the day and time as well as the caller ID. And you'll see who took the call. Where did the call go? So if you're doing, local, if you're doing a national campaign with local search, you can see exactly how many calls you generated to each location using, trackable phone numbers. So why is this important? Well, one way is to optimize ad spend based on location and day and time. So now that you know that a certain keyword is generating calls from a certain from a certain geographic area during a certain day and time, you can optimize to make sure that your ads are showing during those times and in those areas. And you can also reduce your spend for the other areas that aren't working as well. You can also ensure that when your ads are, that when your ads are running, you're going to be generating X amount of calls. You should be sure that your call center or your store or your dealership is open and properly staffed to take in that call volume. You don't want to waste money on ads and campaigns that drive calls, but when no one's there to take them. So another thing you should do is pass all this call attribution and analytics data directly into the other platforms you use in order to optimize ROI. So AdWords or Universal Analytics, for example, are very popular. You can use technologies like DialogTech to pass that call attribution data directly into those platforms, so you can see the data side by side with your web data. If you use a CRM system like Salesforce or bid management tools like Marin or Kenshu or Acquisio or Ignition One, you can pass that data directly, that call data directly in there to use that in your algorithms to optimize the value and the ROI you get from your search, display, and social ads. And I'll show you an example of that in a minute. So I talked about this when I went through the agenda, but I want to present the idea of how marketers need to get involved with controlling the in-call experience from the call conversions they're generating. So this is a new idea, I know, for many of us. A lot of us think all we're interested in is generating leads, and once that person fills out that web form, once that person clicks on the call button to call, as a marketers, maybe we stop caring. Now that's sales' problem. We're just happy we generated the lead. But there are things that you can do as marketers to help convert a caller, a lead, to an opportunity and to a sale. So I wanted to cover two of those technologies here with you. The first is IVR. So IVR stands for Interactive Voice Response. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it's that automated menu that you hear when you call a business that asks you, it could be a wide variety of questions, but the most basic one is, press 1 to talk to sales, press 2 to talk to support or some other department, and so on and so forth. So you should consider using an IVR in order to do a little bit of qualification from the ads that you're spending money, from the leads you're spending money to generate, the calls you're spending money to generate. So how it works would be, you're running a paid search or a social campaign, you're driving it to drive inbound calls, have that caller automatically qualified with an IVR first before routing them directly to a sales agent. So this way you can do a little bit of upfront filtering so that you're not wasting your sales agent's time with calls that aren't for sale. But you can then use reporting to show for each campaign, for each keyword, how many sales calls are you generating versus how many other types of calls. And then that can help you do some optimization to stop spending on sources that are driving high levels of non-sales calls. The other technology you can use is called call routing. How this works is you can set up rules that automatically route the caller based on criteria you think are important. So I covered earlier all that analytics data that you're capturing for each caller during the call. You can leverage that analytics data to route callers in different ways to help personalize each person's call experience. So for example, you can route callers from where they're located in the country. So if someone is calling from downtown Chicago, you can automatically route that caller to the closest store or dealership or most appropriate agent to take the call. You know which keyword searches they're running, so you can route based on keyword searches. So if someone's interested in car insurance versus home insurance, perhaps you want to route that call differently. If someone is typing your company jobs for your company or careers for your company, route that call directly to your HR. Don't waste your salesperson's time. And you can set up rules to do this. You can set up rules to route differently based on the time and day of the call. For example, perhaps you have a call center that's open in the mornings on the East Coast and in the afternoons and evenings on the West Coast. Route calls, you can automatically have calls routed based on the time of day and the day of the week that they're calling. And you can also route based on sales agent skill set, which is a really interesting idea because not every sales agent is as skilled at closing a sale. You can actually set up so more of your calls go to the ones that are, so that all your campaigns are starting to drive more sales as opposed to just calls. These are some ways that marketers can actually influence and help have campaigns convert to sales and not just leads. So I'm going to close with an example from a DialogTech customer. I picked one with some local search implications because, of course, this is LSA, and I assume that most of the audience here has some interest in local. So this is an example from an agency who's a DialogTech client called Square One, and they were working with one of the biggest HVAC manufacturers on the planet. They were hired in order to help improve and optimize the paid search campaigns this client was running to drive more phone calls to 50 local dealers. So we're talking about a national campaign which is running targeted paid search ads to drive leads at the local level to local dealers throughout the country. So here's what they did. To help measure the results of their paid search, they integrated DialogTech with Google Analytics. So you can see an example from the screenshot here. You can see how DialogTech's call data is now showing up alongside of the web activity happening from the different sources, the different search engines listed on the left. So this just shows the search engines, but you can drill in reports on the keyword level to see exactly which keywords from paid search were generating calls. And that's a way to get complete, accurate ROI data to understand what's working and what's not. Next thing they did is they were using a platform called Kenshu, which some of you are probably familiar with. It's a bid management platform that helps automatically allocate budget to keywords that are generating the most conversions. Kenshu works great for web clicks and website conversions, digital conversions, but when that person becomes an offline phone call, Kenshu doesn't automatically track that, but it can if you use a solution like DialogTech. So Square One integrated DialogTech with Kenshu so that when someone was calling from a paid search campaign, Kenshu then was able to include that data at the keyword level into their bid algorithms and automatically allocate budget to keywords that were driving calls and eliminate the spend on ones that didn't. So when the call came in, Square One used DialogTech first, an IVR. They had people automatically, just simple IVR, it said press 1 to speak for sales, press 2 for all other concerns. And that was one way to do some really rudimentary, basic filtering that worked great. It was a great way for someone to separate the sales calls from the non-sales calls. They then routed that sales call automatically to that caller's closest local dealer. So again, this was a campaign that was meant to drive local phone leads from a national spend, but with local implications. They were able to do that easily using call routing from DialogTech. And then they were also generating reports to prove exactly where each call went, so they can go to local dealers and show how the national spend of the HVAC company was impacting their business, was driving business to them. So at the end of the day, they were able to increase phone leads by 75% while cutting the cost of each lead by 65% in the first 5 months to these 50 local dealers. And the HVAC company was so happy that they expanded to roll this campaign out to 100 different dealers. But also, Square One was able to use all this data to prove it. So it's one thing to be able to accomplish, drive more calls and sales. It's another thing as a marketer to be able to prove your ROI. And this is one way that this client did that for their phone leads. So thanks a lot, everybody, for attending. I hope this was some valuable information for you. If you're interested at all in DialogTech's solution, we have a solution for mobile marketing that has call attribution and analytics, as well as the IVR and call routing and integrations piece that I talked about. And it also has some great conversation insight capabilities where you can analyze what happens on a call. If you're interested at all in getting a demo or learning more about DialogTech for mobile marketing, you can visit our website and fill out a form, or of course give us a phone call. We'd love to talk to you.
All right, great. Well, with that, I'd like to thank Blair for conducting today's webinar, and thanks to all of you for attending today. If you have any questions or would like to be connected with today's speaker, simply email us at webinars@thelsa.org. Also, for a look at what is coming and to access all the past webinars, visit www.thelsa.org/webinars. So thanks again, everyone, and have a great day.